like to learn how to move objects seemingly with the power of your mind, almost as if you're using telekinesis, here are some easy magic tricks that you can do. You're going to need a matchbox. Take one of the matches, and you're going to need some thread, and you're going to need a needle. Punch a hole first with your needle. So I've done that here. It's about 1/4 of an inch from the end here, and try and get it to about the same place on the cover, right there. Now you're going to have to thread the thread through the holes. So you go from the outside of the sleeve to the inside, then into the bottom of the drawer, and into the inside. Now you have to tie the thread onto your match. Once you've tied the knot, a speck of glue or some tape here will help. Now your match goes into the box. Pull the thread. You just want the match to kind of lodge in there. Take your other matches, place them in. Now with the matches in the drawer, you have the thread running out the bottom. Now you want the hole, we're going to call that the bottom of the case. That goes on the bottom. So the thread is running out the bottom of this drawer and in and out the bottom here. And the holes are closer together. Now slide the drawer in. And your matchbox is ready to go. Now you're going to run off some thread, and you're going to need enough to have your hand here, and then probably on the belt or in the pocket here is the best place to put this. So you're going to need the thread to kind of run that distance. Now once you cut the thread, on this end here you can put a safety pin there and then pin it to your clothing, or I like to put it on a piece of foam and then stick it in the pocket where it just kind of stays, and that way it's a lot more portable. You can get it in and out of your pocket. So here I have a piece of packing foam. Anytime you get a computer or any big electronics, you're going to have some type of foam in there. So that's what I'm using here. And all I do is tape this on. And the beauty with the foam is that you can wind it around and adjust the distance. So if you've cut the thread too long, that's no problem, because you can just wind it around until you get the tautness that you like. Now you have to set it up and you're ready to perform the trick. And as you can see, the foam goes into the pocket. And if it's a little too loose, you can use a wallet or something to wedge it in. You have your matchbox. So the foam is in the pocket, box is here, and the thread goes through the fingers here. In phase 1, the thread is here. So you want this hole and thread to be towards the back, towards this way. Now what I like to do is I like to kind of tilt the box a little bit, and that way all you do is you move your hand forward and it spins the box. Now for the second phase it'll work by itself, but just by moving your hand and increasing the tension in the thread again, then the box will open all by itself. And use your hands here to add a little magic to the movement. Now shut the box. Now turn the box. Push the box out. And now you can go to the second phase. This time the box closes and then it actually opens in the other direction. Close the box. Now you're going to flip it over this way towards yourself. Now you're going to have to play with this thread. You might need a little more distance. I don't know if you can see it on camera here, but this thread might show. So you might need a little more distance. So if you're really close to people, you can see the thread, they'll see it too. So you can end the trick at that point. But if you have a little distance, you found thread that works with your matchbox that's invisible, it's camouflaged somehow. The thread is now running over and through my hand here. Now I move forward with the hand and the box will stand up, and then keep moving forward and the box opens by itself. Here's a little exercise in telekinesis with an old-fashioned key, the kind they probably used over 100 years ago. You can often find these in antique shops here. Now I'm just going to try and place it in my hand, and I'm going to try and not move my hand. I want to hold this as steady as possible. And now by concentrating, I'm going to try and see if I can make the key turn. I don't know if you can see it, but it's actually beginning to turn. That's a little telekinesis with an old-fashioned key. Here's the explanation for the key. This is often sold at magic dealers or even part of magic sets. It's called the haunted key. So this is actually a dealer item. The cool thing about this is you can go to an antique shop, find an old key, and oftentimes they will work. You just have to test it out once you know the secret. Now it's all about physics. Just be by the nature of the type of key it is and how it's weighted, it will actually turn in your hand. So you place it in your hand and you have to find the fulcrum that works for you with your hand. I like to use this part of my hand pretty much as a fulcrum to rest the key. And then what you're trying to do is put most of the weight of the key right here. At least that's how I've done it, and that's worked best for me. Now, as you're setting it up, you're going to turn your hand, and at some point you'll find a point. See, right here is the point for me that I don't have to move my hand much, just imperceptibly. If I'm tilting this hand forward very slowly, you'll see that the key will begin to turn, and it doesn't even look like my right hand is moving. Now, most people do this as a possessed key. There might be some kind of spirit that possesses this key from an old haunted house, the key to the haunted house. I actually used to perform this in walk around now and then. It was great to just have a key, and if I had a group that had been coming quite a few weekends in a row, sometimes I would bring out this key that I just had in my close-up bag, and I would just play it for laughs. I never did it seriously as a telekinesis kind of thing, or as a haunted, possessed object type of theme. And so I just played it for laughs, but it's just a great trick that you can have with you. It comes from a magic dealer. You can buy one of these things, age it if you like, or even go to an antique shop, find a really cool old style key, and you'll have a really great trick that you can do. Here's what you'll need for the trick. I'm going to use white paper instead of a bill. Makes it easier to demonstrate and shows up better on camera. Now the key to this trick is black thread, and this is just ordinary sewing thread. The thinner the better. Now some of you might consider using fishing line, but I find that fishing line tends to be shiny and catches the light, so I think the black thread is the best solution. Now obviously there's a trade-off between strength and thinness. The thinner the thread, the better. I just used ordinary sewing thread just because I try to keep everything just to everyday materials you might have around the house, as opposed to having to go to a magic dealer. The magic dealer might have a better solution for this. Now you'll notice in the performance that I was wearing black clothing, which helped to hide the thread. So that's something else to consider when performing this trick. But for purposes of demonstration, we're going to use red thread, nice bright red thread, so you'll be able to see it against the white here and see exactly what I'm doing. You're going to need some tape. You're going to need a needle. That's why this trick is not for kids to put together, but if an adult does put this together as a DIY project, then kids can easily perform this. So let's get started. Oh, and one more thing. You need a chunk of foam. This is the one I actually use for performance. Now this is just packing foam, came in a box that was shipped to me. I didn't buy it. It's just stuff they use to pad. I'm sure when you buy things from online, they have this kind of padding. Anything soft that has a little traction when you put it in your pocket. You can use a cork, you can use even a spool, styrofoam, that type of thing. That's what you need. So this will come into play. Let's fold your bill. Fold it lengthwise. Now you want to have good creases. That's what I did with the bill. Now fold it this way in half. Now the tendency here is you probably want to fold it this way, but you actually fold it the opposite way, this way. So it's probably going to go in the other direction you expect it to, and that would be your correct fold. So let me show you what it looks like. When done correctly, it's folded in half, fold it again, and you'll have these layers here. So get the open ends up, not the closed end, the open ends. You'll have two of them that are folds here. You'll have two of them that are folds here, and you'll have these open ones here. Now, so if you're holding it like this, this is the correct position. The folded sides here, the open ones here. Now you're going to have 4 layers here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. You hold these 3 aside, and then you line this 4th one with the others here, with the folded ends. And if you've got that, you've got it correct. Now let's get our thread. So I don't embarrass myself in front of the entire internet. I already threaded the needle just to make this easy, and now we're going to push the needle in from this side into the interior here. So let's do that. Remember, it's just 1 layer from the other side here. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. Now let's cut the thread. Actually, even better, let's tape it first in here. So I already had my piece of tape ready. So we're going to tape it so it's secure. And let's cut this side with the needle. Don't have to be too neat here because this isn't for performance. In fact, leaving some loose ends makes it easier for you to see. So I've got this tape. Normally I would cut this off so you can't see it. And then you have your thread running. We're going to run it through the spool here. You give yourself some length. And then what you're going to do is take this piece of foam, and once you give yourself a bunch of length, you will wrap this around, tape it to this. We'll just use the spool here for demonstration purposes, but you've almost got this thing set up. So let me unfold the bill so you can see exactly what it looks like. So you'll have an end here that's taped. You'll have two of them running here, and then on the other side it'll look like this. So if your bill looks like this after you've threaded it, you've done it correctly. Now let's show you how to do the trick. We're going to imagine that the thread here is your foam. And what you do is you have the length of thread wound around your piece of foam. This foam goes in your pocket. It just kind of jams in there, and you're going to have to adjust the length. But what's great about this approach is with extra thread, if you have too much thread, you just wind it around here and reduce the length. After a while, you'll get a sense for what kind of length of thread you need to perform the trick. And yes, this is the one I used in performance with the black thread. So I want to keep everything up here on the level, so we're going to imagine that this is the piece of foam, and just like a piece of foam, you can adjust the levels. So this is in the pocket. You have your black thread. Now we fold it up. Now here's what's interesting. If you pull the thread, you'll see that the bill will fold itself, and that's exactly what we're doing. Now obviously I pulled the thread here to make this happen, but see, right there, the thread goes between the fingers, so it's running underneath here, and then the trick, if you pull the thread, makes the bill fold itself. That's the key. So you come out ready to perform the trick. This is anchored in your pocket so it doesn't move. So when you practice, wind this up to find the optimal length for you. Now, run the thread between your fingers here and down. As I did in the demo, I wore dark black clothing, so it couldn't be seen. Make sure these are nice, good creases, so bill will naturally fold. Now, with this anchored, this doesn't move because it's in my pocket, and the thread running down and into my pocket. All I have to do is move my hand forward. So it's this hand moving. We're not pulling on this end. All I'm doing is anchoring it here. And when I move forward, you'll see that the bill folds itself. So you just try and be subtle, just slow movements. You wave your hand and make it look like you're actually making things happen there. And then you just keep moving forward, and it'll fold and fold once more. And then you can remove it. Here's the thread, remove it, and hold the folded bill like this. And that's how you perform the trick.